Hello, everyone, and welcome to the classroom. This week, our upload schedule is a little altered because I'm in a Christmas production at my church. So we're going to dive right into the letter of the day. Today's letter is the letter C. C is for coins. Coins are like money, but not paper money like dollars or bills. Coins are metal money. And we're going to have so much fun making a piggy bank today. Do you have a letter C in your name? If your name has letter C, stand up. If your name has letter C, stand up. If your name has letter C, if your name has letter C, if your name has letter C, stand up. Well, C is for coins, but C is also for crayons and colors. And that's how I decorated my letter C today. I just took my crayons and put lots of lines. And if you look closely at your crayon, you'll even see a letter C on there. So that's an idea for decorating. When we decorate the letter, it helps us recognize it. Now that we can recognize it, we'll practice writing it. To write letter C, you just curve around. That's the big letter C. And you curve around smaller for the little C. Let's practice writing letter C. So for the big capital C, you're just going to curve around upstairs and downstairs. Curve around. Curve around. Okay, and for the lowercase or little c, you're just going to curve around, but this time downstairs. Would you like to practice writing the capital or uppercase big letter C and the small little lowercase c? Well, I know you're going to do a great job with those letters, so I'm going to give you a sticker for your handwriting time. Well, now we know how to recognize C and write it. So next, let's talk about the sound that letter C makes. C says k, k, k. Can you make that sound? K, k, k. C says k, 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 as in cut. Pretend that your fingers are scissors. K, k, k. Letter C says k, 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 as in cut. Let's use that sound for blending. Can you remember what the vowels are? The vowels are A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U. These are the vowels. Well, let's put letter C in the front and let's blend these sounds together. I'll just use the hand motions to remind you what the vowels sound like, but you can go back and watch the entire Vowel People class video. The link is below if you need to review those sounds. Okay, so letter C says k, 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 and letter A says a, k, a, ka, ka. Let's put a letter T at the end. Let's try to read a real word today. Cat, and I know T says t, t, t. Cat. What's that word? Cat. Cat. Good job. I'm going to come back to these two. They're a little different, but we'll do those at the end. Let's come down to C and O. K, ah, k, ah, ka, ka. Let's put a letter T at the end again, and let's try to read this word. Caught, 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 caught. Let's come down to C and U. C says k, and U says k, ka. Let's put that same letter T at the end. Can you read this word? Cut, 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 cut. Now, let's go back to CE and CI. Do you ever like to play dress up and pretend? Maybe you pretend you're a firefighter or princess, superhero. Well, when C is before E and when C is before I, it pretends. It pretends that it's the letter S. And I know that S says S, like a snake. S. So let's blend, but let's remember C before E is going to make that S sound. S, se, se. You can see that right here on the calendar. C is before E. December. Se. C before E makes the sound S, and se is our blend. All right, let's do this one. C before I makes the sound S. I says si, si, as in city. Well, you did a great job. That was our letter time, but we also have sight word time next. So see if you can help me remember what this sight word is. It's also a letter. What is it? I see the. I see the. Let's read our letter C book and practice those sight words. Okay, so here we are at the top. It says my C book. Can you read this page? I see the car. Okay, let's come down here. What do you see? I see the cat. Let's continue. I see the cake. I see the cake. Well, you did a great job with our letter learning time. And now it's time for math. For math today, we're going to be talking about coins. There are 4 basic coins in America. The first kind that we'll talk about is called a quarter. Can you say quarter? This is a quarter. Let's find the quarters and color them red. Here's a quarter. Do you see any more quarters? Here's a quarter. Good. Here's one. Any more quarters? Right here. Very good. Okay, so how many quarters did we find? 1, 2, 3, 4. We found 4 quarters. Very good. Okay, next we're going to look for dimes. This is a dime. Can you help me find all the dimes? Here's a dime. Good. Oh, there's one. You found it. Where are all the dimes? There's a dime. How many dimes did we find? 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to look for nickels. This is a nickel. We're going to color the nickels green. Can you help me find some nickels? Nickel. There's one. Oh, there's another nickel. You're good at finding these nickels. Can you help me find some more? There's one. Good. There's another one. I spy nickels. There's the last nickel. How many nickels did we find? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 nickels. Next, we're going to try to find some pennies. We're going to color the pennies orange. Can you find the pennies? There's 1 penny. I found another one. 2 pennies. 3 pennies. 4 pennies. 5 pennies. We found 5 pennies, and you did a great job counting and coloring all those coins. Well, it's time for us to go to art. We're going to make a catapult, and we're going to use coins. So let's go over and see our science activity for today. For science today, I made a simple catapult, and I'll show you how I did it. So I just took one popsicle stick and I put it this way, and then I sandwiched it between some popsicle sticks like that. And I made sure that they were connected with rubber bands on the sides. And then I rubber banded a spoon to the top like this. Now we're going to use this homemade catapult to see if we can make some coins fly up into the sky. So I'll put a coin in the spoon and watch what happens when I push down on this side. Get ready, get set, go! Whoa, did you see the coin jump up into the sky? Well, that's because when I push down on this side of the catapult, energy is being stored. We call that stored energy kinetic energy. The energy is being stored, and when I release, the energy is released. And that energy causes the coin to get catapulted up into the sky. Now watch what happens when I make the distance from the spoon and the ground greater. All right, let's put a coin in the spoon. I'm pushing down on this part of the spoon. I'm storing up that energy. Get ready, get set, go! Whoa! Did you see that coin? It went high in the air that time. More stored energy meant we had a higher effect. The coin went higher up in the sky. Now let's try it again, but this time I moved the catapult, or moved this part of the catapult so that there's not much room between the spoon and the ground. Right, so I'm gonna push down on this side and release. It didn't go very far, did it? So there was less energy, so the coin didn't go very far at all. Let's slide it one more time this way, and you can see that there's more space from the spoon to the ground. We're storing up that energy, that kinetic energy. Now let's release it. Ready, set, go! So that was fun today. We used this homemade catapult for our science. Well, next it's time for art, and we're going to make a piggy bank. For art today, we're making a water bottle piggy bank. So let me show you how. So first, I have the water bottle, and I took off the label. And next, I'm going to cut 2 triangles. Those are going to be the ears. 1, 2 pink triangles. Then I'm going to take the ears, and at the very bottom, I'm going to fold it down. That gives me somewhere to put my glue. So I'm going to put some glue right there, and I'm just going to stick one ear on over here. And I'm going to fold down the triangle and stick another ear over here. Then I'm going to put some eyes right here, and I have googly eyes, but if you don't, you can just draw your eyes on or make some paper eyes. Okay, so for the nose, I just drew 2 dots like that on the cap of the water bottle. And now I want to cover my piggy with some pink paper. So you can see that I just took a little piece of pink paper and covered up the back part of the water bottle. Okay, so now I'm going to store some coins inside. So there you have it for art today. We made a piggy bank. Oink, oink, oink. That was cool. Well, now it's time for story time. Well, here's another look at that piggy bank that we made for art today. Well, now it's time for story time. And today's story is called Caps for Sale. Caps for sale. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying wares on his back. He carried them on the top of his head. First he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then brown caps, blue caps, and on the very top, red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said, and he walked out of town, slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," he thought, and he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First he felt his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure that his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey was a gray, brown, blue, or red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him. This made the peddler angry, so he shook both his hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both their hands back at him. Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him. By this time, the peddler was very, very, very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him. At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. And all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end. So I think those monkeys were copying him. That's another word that starts with letter C. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I hope you'll come back to the classroom tomorrow. D is for dragon. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.